Take a look as we explore the campus and see all the changes that COVID has caused. Campus entry, bathroom capacity limits, stair modifications are just a few of the many changes happening at Detroit Mercy. Students, professors, and faculty are required to wear a mask when indoors and to practice social distancing precautions. Over half of Detroit Mercy's student body is enrolled in online courses or hybrid courses that will switch to online near Thanksgiving. Students are finding parking spots with ease this semester, whereas around this time last year, the parking lot would be full to capacity. With all the changes given the pandemic, the campus is sort of peaceful. There are many precautions set in place, just no students to follow them. Like many public places around the world, water fountains have been disabled to protect the safety of others, and markers have been set in place to divide the hallways to keep people separated as far as possible. Overall, Detroit Mercy is doing everything in its power to keep people safe, and with the help of each and every one involved, we can move forward, tightened together against COVID-19.
Classes have returned to campus at the University of Detroit Mercy, but there have been some changes around campus because of the pandemic. Here are some examples. So right now I'm standing in front of the Commerce and Finance building, and every building has this sign which says face coverings must be worn at all times when indoors. So I'm going to go inside, so I better put on my face mask. I just entered the Commerce and Finance building, and there's a sanitation station right here. It's in every entrance of every building on campus, and every student must sanitize their hands before they come to class. You also must be 6 feet away from other people in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In all classrooms at the University of Detroit Mercy, all the chairs have been placed 6 feet apart. This will help prevent the spread of the virus and improve the learning environment. Some other changes on campus include the water fountains being disabled and a sign talking about avoiding physical contact. Students and faculty should always bring water with them when they come to class. And when you're in the halls, don't do any means of physical contact, for example, a fist bump, because it spreads COVID and we're trying to prevent it. So don't do any of these things until the pandemic is over. And finally, there should be only one person in the elevator. Everyone, stay safe from COVID, wash your hands, practice good hygiene, and social distance.
This looks a lot different now. So the campus looks a lot different now. Some people say it's like a ghost town. But as we all agree, there are plenty of safeguards to help stop spread COVID-19. Now, I'm joined in the studio today by Dr. Pamela Zarkowski, the Provost and Academic Vice President of the University of Detroit Mercy. Dr. Zarkowski, we're glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Now, can you tell us about the responses that the University of Detroit Mercy has had, in response to COVID-19?
Sure. Let me go back to March when there was a decision made to move all classes on all 3 campuses to an online format. That was based, of course, as you know, from guidelines from the CDC as well as our governor, who made certain decisions in order to protect the citizens of the state of Michigan. We did that with a short turnaround. By that I mean there were a couple days of classes that were canceled, and then you all returned to a different format, a different way of learning, a different way of being evaluated, and that was online. And I was very impressed by the flexibility of both the students and the faculty and the employees as we basically flipped in a very short amount of time. Since that time, or shortly thereafter, I decided to identify 7 different work groups who would be looking at how we were going to manage the summer, but more importantly, how were we going to manage fall. And the videos that you just saw are an outgrowth of some of the decisions that we made. Their different committees have different tasks. So to give you an overview of what they were, we looked at events and celebrations, we looked at wellness and well-being, we looked at teaching and instructional technology, we looked at health and facilities, we also looked at other areas including the student and residence life for another group that we were very sensitive to. At the same time, I need to remind you both the School of Dentistry and the School of Law were also going through a similar kind of evaluation of how they were going to do things. And so those 7 work groups started looking at best practices, started looking at what we needed to do as the University of Detroit Mercy, and made recommendations. And those recommendations would go to the president